Hi everyone, good day. So I hope you're all safe. This is another lesson for reading skills. So I'm so sorry for my lighting and the background noises. Medyo nagre-retire ng aking laptop. Anyways, I hope you're all safe and most of our topics naman in reading skills are very self-explanatory, but I want to touch on this topic since this topic is relevant to our times ngayon. So yeah, let's proceed na sa ating topic. So at the end of this lesson, you'll be able to obtain information and ideas, opinions, and attitudes of writers of short, lengthy, and complex text. Discuss the types of strategies in reading for information and read a text comprehensively to obtain information. So in learning, reading for information is very significant since it is the first stage of cognitive or learning process. So um, the first stage of cognitive process kasi is our ability to comprehend. And ability for comprehension is um, ang tinutukoy doon is it is how you think of the topic, how you dissect it, and how uh, it fits into a larger picture. So, without reading, you cannot comprehend din kasi. Sabi nga nila, you cannot give what you do not have. So, if you do not feed your mind with proper information, then para ka lang parang tinatawag nilang batingaw na para kang lata na walang laman. Salita ka ng salita, but walang nilalaman. Parang ganun. So, really, reading for information is very significant. And sabi nga, through reading for information, it develops critical thinking skills for learners. And the more one reads, the deeper is her or his understanding and stronger in her position when defending a particular issue or topic. Kasi you cannot defend a thing if you do not know the bits of pieces behind it. So, what makes it, what are the small details that makes it the larger picture? Parang ganun. So, when you read, you actually acquire step by step the little things. And then, at the end of your reading, you will come to realize that you have completed the picture. You have completed a bigger picture. So that's the importance of reading because it allows us to not only focus on that one little information. It uh, it allows us to travel and make new ones. Parang ganon. So that's the importance of reading. And it has a tremendous effect in fueling all aspects of our personality and enhances our linguistic prowess. So, sabi nga, reading for information is a skill that is common in workplace documents. So, for example, in our letters, manuals, procedures, and memos, um, reading for information talaga is that yun yung one area niya. It is to inform us and ginagamit talaga siya sa workplace, especially sa formal workplace, ating academic and uh, parang sa ang tawag dito, yung formal na environment. So, yun ang I'm so sorry for the noise, but yun ang importance ng reading for information. And reading for information is a lifelong skill. So you cannot, sabi nga nila, you can have it all, but you cannot have you cannot just have it all at once. So in reading, it opens our minds na kasi when you are reading, you need to be patient kasi not all the times that when we read, we find all the answers. So it gives us the patience to read more and to really understand what we are reading kasi yun nga you can have it all, you can have all the knowledge that you want, you cannot just have it all at once. So reading teaches us that. Okay, so you cannot just read in one sitting and then know everything. So kaya it is a lifelong skill. And yeah, it is the complex cognitive process of decoding symbols to derive meaning. So, since reading for information is a means for language acquisition, communication, and sharing information and ideas, the reasoning skills of a learner will be developed and enhanced. Yung sinasabi ko kanina. So, what is the differences between informational text from literary text? So, informational text uh, is organized by topic and supporting details. So, yan yung may mga headings, graphics, illustration, captions that signal importance in the text. While literary text is organized by the structure of a story, poem, or drama. So, however, some commonalities exist between literary and informational, but the skills they both require people to analyze critically the text, reflect on it, and draw conclusions. So that is the power of reading. Kasi unang-una, you need to analyze the text and then you reflect on it. How is it connected on you, on the society, on what is happening in the environment? And eventually, at the end of your reading, you will draw conclusions, whether that conclusion supports your ideas or supports your prior ideas, or uh, it rejects your ideas. So that is the power of reading. Kasi it makes you parang have that power to balance things. Kasi yun ang nangyayari sa atin eh. When we are too focused on one certain area, we forget that there are two sides of the story. But when you read kasi, you are able to realize na this idea and this idea, you can balance it eh. So, you can see the two picture. So, that is the power of reading. So, I hope you have understood that. So, yeah, when reading for information, readers need to know the specific text, structure, or forms of organization. So that is on chronological, sequential order, description, question and answer, and so on and so forth. So reading informational text calls for orientations to the text that differ from those used in reading for literary experience, because readers are specifically focused on acquiring information. So when people read for information, they may select parts of the text they need rather than reading from beginning to an end. Because when you read for information, you are finding answers. You are finding the things that you want to learn. So, kaya ko tinouch talaga itong topic na to kasi ito yung mostly nating ginagawa sa reading eh. When we read, we skim. And when we are skimming, while we are skimming, we are finding that certain answer or that certain interesting topic that will make us parang have that feeling of wow, parang ganon. So when we read, hindi talaga siya yung parang tulad ng mga ginagawa natin sa literary text na talagang inaaral natin kung paano nag-revolve yung story, ano yung mga characters, ano yung plot, yung parang theme of the story. Although similar yung skills na ginagamit, but when we read for information kasi, we select the parts that we need to read. So we highlight the things that we know that it is important. So yun yung nangyayari sa pag nag-aaral tayo. We skim and yeah, this is interesting, and then we move on to the next. Right? So, sana naintindihan niya yung difference ng literary and informational text. Though, ulitin ko, it requires similar strategies and similar skills, but yung the way ng pag-read natin is somewhat different. Yun. So, what is the importance of reading for information? So, kanina ko pa yung sinasabi, but it helps us develop our minds and imagination, and it opens the creative side of the learner. So, it helps us to improve in our vocabulary and spelling. You know, Kaya nga sa thesis namin, sa aming field, um, nire-require namin tinatanong kung how much do you read? How much do you watch? What are the things that you read and what are the things that you watch? Kasi based on many studies, it affects. It affects your skills. It affects the way you write. It affects the way you talk. It affects the way you communicate. So, yeah, yun nga, it helps you really improve. And kung naririnig nyo, kung nakikinig kayo ng mga um, inspirational na mga tao na nagsasalita, lagi talaga nilang sinasabi na, you read, read, read. I know, aminado ako na during college, I'm not really fond of reading. Parang, kasi before I even start reading, I feel very overwhelmed na parang natamad na ako or hindi ako makatagal sa isang page, ganun. But take it one step at a time. Don't be too uptight. Kasi when you are too uptight, up, ang magiging possible case niyan is tatamarin ka and you'll end up doing nothing. So, take it one step at a time. Balik tayo doon. So, significantly, one cannot make clear assertions or possess a clear understanding of an issue until we read for information and understand exactly what the terms mean. So, without the dictionary, we cannot really survive in this very fast-paced environment. Kasi ngayon, my students are, pag nababasa ko yung mga outputs nyo and naririnig ko kayong the way you speak, the way you present your speeches, I realize na, wow, the students now, they acquire more skills, more knowledge than to compare in our generations, Kasi ngayon, you can read whenever and however you can. Kasi noon kami, parang during our times, you need to have really a book or you need to go to the library to read and that is excruciating on our part kasi yun nga, hindi naman lahat may drive na pumunta sa library. Pero ngayon, while you're scrolling, you'll stumble on one quote and that's reading and yeah, you acquire knowledge on that. So everywhere you look, everywhere you are, anywhere you are, you're actually reading and you're actually learning. So that is one thing that helps the students now. That makes you a step ahead of us, parang ganun. So yeah, I really commend you on that. That yeah, it's really since the pandemic hit and no, it's really hard to be a student right now. But I can see your outputs and I realize na though hindi may tatago na some of you struggle, but at the end of the day, you submit an output and that's your best. And yeah, you don't be too uptight. Yung sinasabi ko. So, yun. Yun ang nagagawa ng reading. Medyo lumalayo na tayo, but yun ang nagagawa ng reading. It opens your doors and yeah, it helps you understand things. So, what is efficient reading? So, if you are a good reader, you almost certainly don't read every word carefully. So, you read with a purpose. And as your eye skims over the page, you take from it whatever you need, predicting what is likely to come next and adjusting your predictions as you go along. So, basically, hindi nga lang sa reading In all that you do, you need to have a purpose. The way that you speak, it should be a purposeful communication. Kaya nga may purposive communication kayong subject. The way that you listen, it should have a purpose. So, in reading, you need to read with a purpose. Kasi minsan tayo, there's the tendency of us na porket bored tayo, you just grab a book and then read. Parang sinasabi mo, pastime ko siya. Tapos, i-read. So, maybe, ang mangyayari dyan is, yeah, may na-highlight ka. Yeah, may may natutunan ka. But since you don't have that purpose, hindi mo siya really ma-apply in your life. So, before you read, kahit simpleng tanong lang na, what is my purpose in reading right now? So, is it to entertain me lang? Or is it to help me grow? To help me inspire others? To help me spark light to others? So, kung na-inculcate na yun sa'yo before you read, ang mangyayari is, when you are reading, you're actually motivated to read more because you have that purpose. You have set your purpose. So in all that you do in life, set a purpose. Do not set just a goal, but you set a purpose. And that will give you that sense of fulfillment. And that sense of fulfillment is a thing that no money can buy. So yeah. So when you are fulfilled, you will not feel na you're tired and sluggish and depressive. Kasi you have that purpose. And at the end of the day, when you have met your purpose, yeah, it makes you feel like a different and a better person. So yeah. And balik tayo dito, in class, readers should be able to skim through pages on World Wide Web, identifying relevant information with speed and efficiency. They should read quickly and efficiently. So they should be provided with a reason for reading and to recreate the circumstances in which readers operate in the real world outside the classrooms. And they should be exposed to a task-based approach where they can use the read information in different communicative tasks and activities like argumentation. So, malapit na tayong matapos. What are the types of strategies in reading for information? Number one, it is to predict. It is to determine what you think will happen in the next. So, use the title text and illustrations to help you. So, when you are reading, you're actually predicting outcomes. So that is one strategy of reading. And the next is to visualize. You create mental images of the settings, characters, and events in the text. Meron mga books na, kaya nga itong ating book sa English Language Proficiency, although it does not have images talaga, but it has catchy codes. And that helps us create that certain mental image. It parang it makes our reading very interesting. So, kung nahihirapan kayo sa pagbabasa, you create mental images. So, you imagine, and that will help you entertain yourself to not be bored. So try that. You can doodle, or especially when you're reading stories and the novel that you read or the books that you have do not have certain images. You try to doodle it, and yeah, or try to have a imaginary picture na lang if you cannot draw. And yeah, that will help you have that enthusiasm to not be bored. Next question. So you need to stop and ask yourself questions to see if the text makes sense. So reread the text if you need more information. So that is what happens to us when we're studying. So um honestly, yung mga tinuturo ko ngayon, I did not really learn this during college or high school. Kasi very limited kami nun eh. Although we have books, although naabutan ko si Google and all, but hindi pa ganun ka-complex yung mga materials. So, yung mga pinapag-aralan natin ngayon, I also learned from it. So, when I highlight, kasi kung makita niyo yung aking book, it has lines and all. It has notes. So, when I highlight, I stop and I ask questions na, is this the same to the things that I have learned during my college days? Or is this different? Parang ganon. So, I reread the text and yeah, and I would search sa Google if I need more information. So, that is one strategy to help you read with a purpose and read na malaman, na may naiintindihan ka talaga. Okay, number 4 is to connect. So think about what you already know about the text and find ways to relate the text to yourself, other text, and the world around you. So when you do not connect to what you are doing kasi, you will end up na questioning yourself, what am I even doing? Why am I even doing this? So when you lack that connection, you will find yourself wondering if you are doing the right thing. But if you connect to the things that you do, whether you read it, you're reading it, or you are exploring it, you are studying it, if you connect to it, if you connect it to the environment, if you connect it to people, yun, it will help you kasi have that drive of wanting to learn more. Yun. And then identify, determine the author's purpose. So find the important details, the main idea, and the themes of the text. So, yun nga, aside from you read with a purpose, you need to also find what is the purpose of the writer. Is it merely to inform us, to educate us, to entertain us, or to change our perspective? Parang ganun. Yeah, infer. Use clues in the text that and your knowledge to fill in gaps and draw conclusions. So, yun nga, when you are reading kasi, it will have you, yung kanina yung sinabi ko na little information or bits of clues, parang ganon. And, honestly, when you are reading, hindi mo kasi alam na in your brain, you have that gap. But when you are reading, you inject little clues, little information. And at the end of your reading, you will eventually realize na fill niya yung gaps. And you're able to draw conclusions with a bigger picture. Yon. Next, the last thing is evaluate. So think about the text as a whole and forms opinions about what you read. Next, tips in reading for information. This is the last part. Read the text carefully and make sure you understand the question. Find and underline keywords in the question. Think of a possible answer. Find keywords in the text to support your answers and read the information around keywords. Consider all possible answers and make your own decision. So I would like to have an example. This is my book. As you can see, ayan. So, I read the text carefully and I make sure and I understand every question or everything that is written here. Hindi naman ibig sabihin na you understand the the things that you read is you parang word by word you understand it. Hindi naman. Make sure na you understand the gist of the topic. And yeah, you find and underline keywords. Ayan. That will really help you think of a possible answer. What parang ano yung nagtulak sa writer na to have that answer. Parang ganun. So, yeah, you find keywords in the text to support your answer and read the information around the keywords and consider all possible answers and make your own decision. So, yeah, reading for information is really relevant in today's times, especially during the pandemic kasi you are forced to self or to educate yourself or self-review, self-learn everything. Yeah, reading for information would really help you to survive this semester. So yun lang. Always remember, read with a purpose and know that reading is a powerful tool to make you a better person. Ayun. So I hope I hope you have learned something, and I'll see you sa ating next topic. Have a great day ahead, and ayun, always remember na, ay, ito pa pala, before I forgot, sabi nila, if you keep doing your best becomes your normal. And sometimes, you cannot, you will find it hard to find a new definition of your best. So, if you're struggling like right now, um, remember that you need to take it easy. Take it one step at a time. You cannot have it all at once. Don't be too uptight. Yun sinasabi ko kanina. So, hindi masama na gagawin mo lahat ng best mo every day. But always remember na eventually, you'll have that normalcy, and at the end of the day, yung marirealize mo eh. Isipin mo na, bakit noon? Sobrang eager ko to learn. Bakit noon, kahit magpuyat ako, wala akong pakialam? Para mailabas ko lang yung best ko. Tapos ngayon, parang wala na akong drive to have that best. The answer is, that best became your normal. And since normal na siya sa'yo, ang tendency is, hindi mo na siya na-appreciate, or hindi na siya ganun ka-entertaining for you. Hindi ka na ganun na challenge kasi normal na siya sa'yo. So, hindi masama na gagawin mo yung best mo. Just reflect on it and be sensitive. Baka napapabayaan mo na masyado yung sarili mo. And, yeah, mahirap ma-burn out. Alam mo yung, ang hirap kasi i-define ang burnt out. Pero, once na maramdaman mo yung burnt out, wala ka ng drive na tumayo sa higaan mo to study. Wala ka ng drive to do the things that you were doing before. So, that's the reason behind it. So, again, it's not bad to do your best. Just do not force it all to have it all at once. So, ulitin ko, yun nga, you cannot have it all at once. Ayun. So, yeah. Tulungan tayo. Kayang-kaya natin to for the rest of the semester. So, I hope you have a wonderful day ahead, and please keep safe. If you're tired, you rest, and do not forget to pray. God bless everyone, and I'll see you sa ating next topic. Bye!